All right, Rocket football fans, get ready for week 3. Crittenden County's going to travel down to Ballard Memorial. Nice little trip. Have to go through Paducah. Long way down there, Coach Thompson. But we're taking a bus load of the number 5 team in the state of Kentucky down to play Ballard Memorial. The Rockets ranked number 5 this week, moved up 3 slots in the Class A Associated Press poll. Nice little feather in your cap.
Yeah, for sure. You know, this early in the year, the rankings, they're going to move a bunch from week to week as they see what teams are, you know. But for us, we talk the last few years about getting that respect with the voters that we feel like we've worked to deserve, and it's starting to pay off now. So, you know, the number 5, that's great and all. Do I think that we're where we need to be because we're number 5 in the AP poll? No, we're not even close. We have a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue to do that every day, whether we're number 1 in the polls. But it is nice that people are starting to put our name in the hat. So
while we're on the top 5 ranking, we want to talk about this week's trivia question right off the bat. So when is the last time Crittenden County was ranked this high or higher, number 5 or higher, in the Associated Press poll? So if you know the answer to that, you know the deal. Go down to H&H Home and Hardware, tell them the answer to the trivia question, and you'll get a free round of golf down Deer Lakes. Coach Thompson, let's also talk about the Boot for Bucks. We're going to have a contest at the first home game. We talked a little bit about it last week. It's coming up, and it's people need to get in. If you think you can kick that 35-yard field goal, you win $100 and the kicker wins $100.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it's something that we can have fun with. I want people to see the pressure that the kicker feels when they're up there kicking that field goal. I think it's something that we can have fun with, and I obviously wish I could be out there to watch it, especially this first one.
Halftime.
Yeah, but you know, I think it'd be fun for the community. It's something, it's an extra show at half, something to get excited about while we're getting ready for the second half.
And you'll be watching for that starting the first of the week. Go online, Facebook. We'll have it on YouTube, various places online, the Rocket website. You can find out exactly what you need to do to get involved in that. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back and talk about Ballard Memorial.
You know, ever since I was a child, I've loved land. I loved every land. My mother's father was a farmer, so my granddaddy and his father was a farmer, and I spent my childhood's summers in coming to Kentucky and working on the farm, and everything from the smell of dirt to feeling it run the dirt go between your fingers. There's nothing like it.
I love option play.
Was that a 42 speed option?
Are you looking for a banking option?
Sequence, double credit union.
Come to Marion soon.
Cashback, please.
25 cents.
I need to cash this, please.
25 cents.
Cashback, please.
25 cents.
Hunter, why are you shortchanging the customers?
At this window, all you get's a quarterback.
5 regular season home games, at least 2 home playoff games, at 8 touchdowns per, 56 touchdowns. That's a lot of booms.
All right, welcome back to the show. Coach Thompson, let's talk a little bit about this week's opponent, Ballard Memorial, a team that we had great trouble with 2 years ago. Last year, not so much. Handled them pretty well, and we're going to go down, and it doesn't appear that they are fully loaded with talent like they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it goes back to they had a really great quarterback and a really great receiver. Well, a few great receivers in the past, and defensively they flew around and had fun for the most part. But you know, after graduating Marinelli and the Cox kid, their offense isn't as explosive as it has been in the past. But they still have guys that were successful against even us in the past. And the Howard boy, number 17, he absolutely gave us fits last year. So he's a guy that we're going to have to find this year and keep him contained to make sure history doesn't repeat itself this year with him. But you know, when you lose guys like that and your numbers are down and expectations might be down a little bit, you tend to get caught up in struggling, or you're going to be good. And right now it seems like they may be struggling a tad bit, but they're still a team that can be dangerous. Coach Brooks is a very creative offensive mind, and they got guys out there that love football, and they're flying around and playing. So I mean, we're going to have to come out and take care of business this week.
Well, they lost in the opening week 37-6 to Marshall County, and were idle last week against Marshall County. They threw the ball only 3 times and had 16 yards passing and about 120 yards, I think, rushing, but gave up 330 plus yards rushing to Marshall County. So
yeah, and remember, we scrimmaged Marshall. Marshall runs a double wing T looking triple option attack. Yeah. So that's difficult when you're measuring Marshall's success offensively with what they do, because it's hard to game plan for, especially coming in the first
and
game.
Marshall didn't even throw the ball against Ballard.
Yeah,
not a time.
I don't know that Marshall
not
throws
that they
much,
needed,
you know. But I'm just saying, with us being differently offensively, you know, we're going to have to go out and make sure that we're sound in what we do and we do our job every play. But as far as them offensively, they run a little triple option set, kind of from a pistol look with a couple wings and some motion type stuff. So our defense is going to have to be extremely disciplined and make sure that they do their jobs. That's very key this week, and not try to get selfish at times. And you know, and that kind of offense is easy to do. So they got to make sure that they stay focused on the task at hand.
Well, Ballard Memorial is a team that Crittenden has historically had its way with, but over the last decade, that's been a little different. The Rockets had lost 6 straight to Ballard, which had an uptick like a small school does. You have it's very cyclical, but the Rockets actually lead the series 26-15 overall. So as you can see, Ballard has won 6 straight coming into the game last year. So half their success has been the last few years when they had a pretty good teams.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of Bledsoes and a Marinelli in that time, just guys that were very explosive.
Which coach had. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back and talk about the Rockets, find out what's going on in Rocket football camp this week.
Full Body Fitness, training Rockets and Rocket fans since 2006.
Through the week, we are welding and fabricating.
On Friday nights, we are grinding it out with the Rockets. Touchdown, Rocket!
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about a little fun in practice on Monday. On Labor Day, the Rockets came in early, watched a little film, 8 a.m., and after that, you went out onto the field and had a little communication drill. You've mentioned a couple of times that communication, at least first couple of games, lacking. And so explain what went on, and we've got a little video, and you can watch, and we'll cut in and get some of the guys that tell you what they're feeling.
So basically, with our communication being as poor as it's been, everybody knows I'm a loud guy. There's no excuse for them not to know what's going on every play. And for some reason, we're having issues with that. And what it comes down to is discipline. So what we did was we just wanted to basically put a bet on it. So, you know, if you guys can prove that you can communicate, then we won't run as much. So basically, we lined them up every 5 yards and started the first guy, told him something and gave a gesture. I can't remember what I said, but then it was supposed to go all the way down the line, and the guy at the end was supposed to bring it back to me, what was said, and
it got out of sorts in a hurry, but somebody helped it out somewhere down the line.
At some point, they got it back in order. But what it did was it opened my eyes and helped me understand that communication, even with great communication, with kids focused and understanding the pressure, you know, there's times where communication is something that's easy to break down. So me as a coach, I got to make sure that I make sure it doesn't break down. So for me, trying to teach those guys a lesson, I might have learned something along the way as well.
It was the old-fashioned telephone, the way we used to do as a kid, string phone type drill. It was very good way to test the communication. And I think the kids did learn something from it
for sure.
And if nothing else, they learned to be innovative because I think they were skipping around. So the guy who knew it may have been feeding the guys toward the end, but it was cute. And I hope you enjoy some of this video we got here.
I'm pretty sure it was blue hearts, touchdowns, communication. Don't forget the girls; they're important. Chicken nuggets.
Blue heart, communication, touchdown. Don't forget the girls and touch your nose.
Can you recite it for me?
Blue heart. That's what we gotta say. Yeah. Blue heart. Don't know why. It's just communication practice. Blue heart.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
Blue heart, chicken nugget. Don't forget the girls. What? Blue heart, chicken nuggets. Don't forget the girls. Blue heart, chicken nugget. Don't forget the girls. Yeah. Yeah.
Maddox, come to me. Don't say anything. Everybody up. This is what it was. Blue hearts, touchdowns, communication, and don't forget the girls are all important. Chicken nuggets. All right, that's what it was.
All right, Coach Thompson, another thing I want to talk about is the sledgehammer. Some people in the stands, I think, when they saw it last week for the first time, thought it was an axe.
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be a good weapon to take out to a football field.
It's like the trash can. People didn't understand why we were yelling trash can at the beginning of the year until we broke the trash can out, and then they saw it was tied to turnovers. Our turnovers have increased since we made getting turnovers a game. And for us now, you look at football and it being such a physical sport, and the rules have kind of taken some of that physicality out of the game. So what we've done is brought that sledgehammer, and now those guys are competing every week to have legal, clean hits with the sledgehammer, or to win the sledgehammer.
That's the reward,
not
using it.
Yeah, but that's what. So they get to carry that out, and the guys, when we do these games, Coach Courtney's great at coming up with this stuff. They really, really, really take ownership of it. So T-Bone has the sledgehammer this week and it's not because any big kid, it's that he formed tackles. He's had, I don't know how many formed tackles he had the other night, but he was the guy. Offensively, people like Ian Ellen and the way he blocks and the effort he puts, he's a guy that could compete for that sledgehammer. But T-Bone, he's carrying around the locker room. The excitement, the constant reminder of when I play physical, I can be successful, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Let's switch gears here and talk about some of the guys that we're not going to see on the field this week. Mattis Carlson suffered a concussion. He was diagnosed with a concussion, so he's got to go through that protocol, and that's going to take a while. Speak to that. What's going to happen? That means Hunter Jones is going to be on the field more defensively. Is that the plan?
Well, yeah, you'll see Hunter Jones. You would see Luke Kreider probably fill most of that role. But then there's guys like Caleb Nesbitt who can come in and play that spot, and then also Luke Mundy as well is a guy that plays inside that can play on the edge, and has done that before. But we have some guys that we worked earlier in the year. Preston Morganson can move in. A guy like Logan Bailey can move in and play that kind of stuff. So we have options, but you want to stick with people that's been doing it instead of moving a bunch of people around and trying to teach them. So we got guys that can do it, so there's options, but Luke will probably get the most of those reps that Maddox is leaving.
Braxton Winder's injured his knee. It's not serious, but probably not going to play this week.
Right now, where I'm sitting, I don't think that we'll see Braxton this week. It's possible that he played. It's all just about his body and when he feels like he's 100% ready to go.
Who backs him up?
At linebacker, you'll see Coleman Stone come in for him at linebacker, and then offensively, he was in a few of our personnel packages as far as our two-back stuff. That we'll just stick with Caden staying, so he would come in for Caden. We'll just stick with Caden in those situations. And quarterback, you'll see Kreider fill in the backup role at quarterback. So.
Yeah. Speaking of the backfield, I know you had an issue at practice this week. You want to speak to that? It's going to be very conspicuous when the game starts Friday night. One of our impact players won't be on the field, at least to start the game.
Yeah, we had an incident at practice with Alexander Tabor. made a bad decision, and for me, you know, it's more important that he learns from the decision that he made. Then we go out and win a football game or anything like that. And it's not just a learning lesson for him, it's a learning lesson for all of our kids. You just got to be smart in the things that you do. So he just had an incident at practice where he made a decision that, you know, it wasn't the smartest decision. It wasn't anything crazy wrong. It didn't end well, but, you know, it's just something that we got to be able to control our emotions and make good decisions, and that's what it's all about. So he'll sit the first half, and then after that he'll be free to go, and hopefully we learn from that as a team.
All right, well, we're going to take one more quick break, and we'll be right back to close out the show.
T-Bone, good luck this week.
Thank you.
Good luck this week, Titan.
Boys, we gotta know what the game plan is this week. We're banking on you.
I'm Darren Tabor, Homestead Auction Realty. Let us get you across the goal line with a new home. You go in the game this week, you're going style, Rocket fans. Come by Max 2 Custom Kit and Detail for a $15 wash.
Hey Kelly, it's almost Friday.
And we'll see you at Rocket Stadium.
Here at H&H, we've got just about anything that it takes to get you back out on the field.
All right, Coach Thompson, we're going to close out the show with a look at last week's games. We're going to scroll these. We're not going to talk about all of them, but these are results from last week. We will talk a little bit about the fact that 3 teams on our schedule are ranked. Caldwell County got another win last week. Trigg County got a big win over Fort Campbell. And Todd Central was idle last week, the game. The officials didn't show up at Fort Knox, so that's unusual.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. I don't know who's to blame for that situation or what happened, but you know, to have 2 teams on the field warming up and not have officials play that game, then you start thinking about travel.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure. So.
And Caverna got a big win. Win 51-0 over Shawnee, but don't be misled, I don't think, by that. Shawnee has not won a game in almost 5 years.
Yeah,
so
but it's good for Caverna to get that monkey off their back.
Speak one thing real quick about the fact that we are playing at Ballard again now 2 years in a row. There was a little quirk in the schedule this year that required us to do that.
Yeah, so basically all of our contracts in football are basically 2-year contracts. So this was a contract year where we were rescheduling, and we lost Hopkins County Central off the schedule there late in the scheduling process. So I was scrambling to find another game, and I found Todd, which I thought was a good game for us to have. And they were adamant that we play at our place this year. So I called Coach Brooks, and he's always willing to flip them. He really bailed us out, and to make sure that we could stay 5-5. So we didn't have 1 year where we were on the road for 6 games. So. That's why we're going back to Ballard. He's really bailing us out.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's close out the show with a couple of keys to this game. What's the key offensively for the Rockets this week at Ballard?
Communication.
Communication. We've worked on that this week.
For sure.
Okay. What about defensively? What do we have to do to stop Ballard?
Discipline and doing your job. You have to stay disciplined because, like I said, they're doing that triple option look. You get the dive, quarterback pull in and pitch, and they do it with motion. So there's a lot of flashiness for the eyes, and you can't get caught up trying to do more than you're supposed to do. So as long as the kids stay disciplined, they should be successful defensively.
All right, 7 p.m. kickoff at Ballard Memorial. We'll see you down there Friday night, and don't forget, watch for the Boots for Bucks starting next week. Get involved. Get in the game.
Since 1973, Hodges has been equipping Rockets and Rocket fans with gear and apparel. Come see us. We'll see you Friday night at the football game.
From our team to yours, we're behind you all the way, Rockets. Par 4 Plastics, where people make the difference.
Hello, I'm Rick Hughes at Deer Lakes Golf Course in Salem, Kentucky.
home of Rocket golfers.
Hey, Rocket football fans!
Let Rommel Ellington tackle your dirty ride.
Welcome to Hometown Chiropractic. I'll be right with you.
Everything in this country was built from the ground up, and it starts with land. When I can go out and take somebody onto a property and see that gleam in their eye when they find a farm that they fall in love with because they're as passionate about land as I am, that's when the magic happens. That's what makes what we do so great. There's no dollar amount. There's nothing else that can compare to the look you get when somebody signs on that dotted line and their dreams have come true about owning land.